Part 2 stand part, but members, before we do, we have the Minister's amendments. So the question is that the Minister's amendments set out on SOP 112 be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary will say no. The ayes have it. Members, the question now is that Part 2 is amended stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Contrary will say no. The ayes have it. Members, we now come to Part 3, debate on clauses 142 to 154. The question is that Part 3 stand part.
Chair.
I call David Shearer.
Chairman, I'd like to take a short call on this part of the bill this evening. I was speaking when I spoke last about the 75% and 25%, the change in the threshold in terms of coming to an agreement by the body corporate. And I was saying that this, I thought, was a good decision in the sense that it allowed and enabled the body corporate to move forward and make decisions about property without needing absolutely everybody in a unanimous decision, because one person or one owner could essentially hold up the entire process. I do acknowledge my colleague Phil Twyford's question about why 25%, and I hope that answer might be forthcoming in the next little while. But that at least, I think, in this modern day and age, enables the great bulk of those people who are involved in the body corporate to be able to move on and make decisions about the particular property. I guess the counter to that, though, is to ensure that the 25%, and it may only be not 25%, it may be much less than that, do have some sort of a process or some sort of an ability, an avenue for redress should they disagree with what has been brought forward, and that's really what I would like to, in a sense, to look at in the next couple of minutes. Basically, what we needed was a robust process to ensure that those who disagree with the motion can apply to have their views heard through preferably mediation, but certainly the adjudication of the courts. And there was some discussion around how this was going to happen, remembering that for most of the last 38 years, the High Court, in fact, was the body which heard a lot of these disputes. And I think that, a lot of work has obviously gone into this by officials who looked at a whole range of different options and different bodies that would be able to take care of disputes. They looked at, for example, the Disputes Tribunal. It was considered not the best option. It was a possible option, but certainly not the best option, because the Disputes Tribunal didn't really offer any incentive to resolve disputes, and in fact much of its decisions were not necessarily as transparent and not published. What was decided upon was that the Tenancy Tribunal would better fulfil the objectives for establishing a holistic and effective dispute resolution service. It was going to be quick, it was going to be accessible, and it was going to be credible, and it was proven. The Tenancy Tribunal has a very good record in resolving disputes both from landlords and tenants, and in this case within a body, perhaps a body corporate. It's got a demonstrated approach to dispute resolution. It's the information, it's education, it's mediation, etc. Is also very easy to understand, very easy to follow, particularly, as is nearly always the case, many of these people who take their cases to the Tenancy Tribunal are not lawyers, but are seeking good and fair redress of some of the problems that they have. So, Mr. Chair, I think that was a good decision. We are looking at the Tenancy Tribunal in the first instance taking the role of mediating any disputes, particularly as I was saying before, between the 75% majority and the 25% who perhaps disagree, and enable that to go forward in a way that would be to the benefit and certainly to the satisfaction of all concerned. So I want to once again acknowledge the hard work that has gone on and by both officials in this rather very technical piece of legislation, and once again the cooperation that has occurred between on both sides of the House, both during the term of the previous government and into this government as well. Mr. Phil Heatley, who took it to the Mr. Chair, who took this piece of legislation to the Parliament just several weeks ago. Thank you very much.